Have you ever stopped to wonder, why does a simple piece of paper or a small metal coin have the power to buy food, shelter, or even luxury cars? How did we, as humans, decide that certain objects could hold value while others did not? Today, we're going to take a journey through time, a journey that traces the incredible, fascinating, and sometimes mysterious history of currency. From shiny coins of ancient kings to the colorful paper bills in your wallet right now, the story of money is the story of civilization itself. And by the end, you might look at every coin and banknote in your pocket in a completely different way. Our story begins thousands of years ago, long before paper bills and minted coins ever existed. Imagine living in a world without money. If you wanted a loaf of bread, you had to trade something else of value, maybe some milk or a tool you crafted. This system is called bartering. It worked for a while, but there was one big problem. What if the baker didn't need your milk and you still needed bread? This problem of coincidence of wants was the flaw that pushed humans to invent something far greater: currency. At first, currency wasn't shiny gold coins or crisp paper. It was everyday objects that people agreed had value. In some parts of the world, salt became an early form of money. Yes, salt. It was so valuable for preserving food that Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, which is where we get the word salary today. In other places, cowrie shells were used, their unique beauty and rarity making them a trusted medium of exchange. These objects weren't just random. They were chosen because they were scarce, durable, and widely desired. Doesn't it make you wonder? What if our ancestors had chosen a completely different item as money? Would we all be trading seashells today instead of swiping debit cards? The next great leap in the story of currency came with metal. Humans realized that metals like copper, silver, and gold were not only durable, but also rare and easy to shape. Civilizations from China to Mesopotamia began using metal ingots as money, but carrying around heavy lumps of metal wasn't exactly convenient. And so, the idea of coins was born. The very first official coins are believed to have appeared in the kingdom of Lydia, modern-day Turkey, around 600 BCE. These coins were stamped with images that represented authority, trust, and power. Imagine holding one of those early coins, smooth, heavy, stamped with a lion or a king's face. That little disc wasn't just metal, it was a promise, backed by the ruler's authority, that it had value. Coins spread rapidly across the ancient world, used by the Greeks, Romans, Persians, and beyond. Each civilization left its story etched into its coins: gods, emperors, battles, victories. In many ways, coins were the world's first mass communication tool, a way for leaders to broadcast their power with every transaction. But even coins had their problems. Imagine carrying hundreds of gold coins across long trade routes: heavy, risky, and impractical. As trade expanded, merchants needed a safer, lighter way to move value. This is where the next revolution happened: paper money. The earliest known paper money appeared in China during the Tang Dynasty around the 7th century, but it was during the Song Dynasty in the 11th century that it truly took hold. Picture this: a merchant in ancient China handing over a slip of paper instead of coins. At first, people were skeptical. How could paper be worth anything? But here's the genius. Those notes were backed by the government, which guaranteed their value. The convenience was undeniable. Instead of hauling heavy metal coins, you could simply carry lightweight paper that represented the same wealth. Doesn't that sound a lot like the cash in your wallet today? From China, the idea of paper money slowly spread westward, reaching Europe centuries later. Marco Polo, the Venetian explorer, was astonished when he encountered it in China and wrote about this paper currency in his travels. Europeans could hardly believe it at first. Money made of paper? It sounded absurd. But soon enough, as trade grew and economies expanded, paper money became essential. Banks emerged, issuing notes that promised to pay the bearer a certain amount of gold or silver. For centuries, this system, known as the gold standard, meant that every piece of paper money was backed by actual precious metal stored in a vault. Think about that for a second. For much of history, the money in your pocket wasn't valuable because of the paper itself. It was valuable because it represented gold or silver sitting somewhere safe. That trust in the system was everything. Without it, the entire idea of paper currency would collapse. Now here's where things get even more intriguing. Over time, governments realized that tying every banknote to gold limited their ability to grow economies, especially during wars or crises. Slowly, one by one, countries abandoned the gold standard. Paper money stopped being a promise of gold and became what we now call fiat currency. Money that has value simply because a government says it does and because we all agree to accept it. Sounds risky, doesn't it? But here's the twist. It works as long as people trust the system. Without that trust, entire economies can crumble. We've all seen what happens when trust disappears. Hyperinflation in places like Zimbabwe and Venezuela turned paper money into worthless scraps. Imagine needing a wheelbarrow of bills just to buy bread. These dramatic stories remind us of a simple truth. Money, whether coin or paper, only has power because we believe it does. Lose that belief, and money is nothing more than metal or ink on paper. Throughout history, the design of coins and paper money has carried powerful messages. Kings, queens, presidents, and national symbols are proudly displayed, reminding people who holds authority. Intricate designs and hidden watermarks protect against counterfeiting, making money not only a medium of exchange, but also a work of art and security technology. Have you ever taken a close look at a bill under UV light, seeing hidden threads and patterns? That's centuries of innovation packed into a single note. But here's something to think about. Coins and paper money might not always be around. In many countries, digital payments are already replacing physical cash. Mobile wallets, credit cards, and even cryptocurrencies are challenging the reign of coins and paper. Some countries are even experimenting with central bank digital currencies. Could it be that we are living in the final chapter of physical money? In 100 years, will people look back at coins and paper bills the way we look at cowrie shells and lumps of metal? So what does all this mean for us today? On one hand, coins and paper money are tangible links to our history. They connect us to ancient kings, merchants on the Silk Road, and explorers like Marco Polo. On the other hand, they may soon be relics, displayed in museums while digital transactions dominate our daily lives. It's a reminder that money is not fixed. It's a human invention that constantly evolves with our needs, our technology, and our imagination. Now here's my question for you. If physical money does disappear, will we lose something more than just coins and paper? Will the jingle of coins in a pocket or the feel of crisp banknotes vanish into history, leaving us with nothing but screens and numbers? Or will new forms of money create even greater opportunities than ever before? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Are you someone who prefers cash in hand, or do you think we should move completely into a cashless world? Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate just how far we've come. From salt and shells to gold coins, from paper promises of precious metals to modern banknotes backed by nothing but trust, currency has evolved alongside humanity. Every coin, every bill, every note tells a story, not just of value, but of culture, power, and survival. And now, as we stand on the edge of a digital revolution, we may be writing the next great chapter in the story of money. So the next time you pull out a coin or a banknote, take a closer look. You're not just holding money, you're holding history. You're holding thousands of years of human ingenuity, struggle, and belief. And maybe, just maybe, you're holding the key to understanding the future. If you found this journey fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into history and finance, and share your thoughts below. What do you think the future of money will look like? Will coins and paper survive another century, or are we witnessing their final days? Let's start the conversation, because money, after all, only has power when people believe in it.